You know, we've all heard it a million times, right? If you want to win the day, you gotta have a plan. You know, the detailed to-do list, the super organized, color-coded calendar. But what if that very thing, the tool that's supposed to help you make progress, is actually the main source of your stress? Well, let's get into why that happens, and more importantly, how we can fix it.
Seriously, just take a second and think about your plan for today. Does looking at it make you feel empowered? Totally clear on what to do? Or does it kind of give you that sinking feeling, that wave of pressure and anxiety? Hey, if it's the second one, trust me, you are so not alone in this.
And this right here, this really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We start planning with the best intentions. We want progress, we want clarity, but the reality, well, for a lot of us, it's just stress and guilt, especially when life, which always happens, doesn't stick to our perfect little script. So, let's figure out how we can close that gap.
Okay, so first things first, let's be super clear. There's a really, really good reason why everyone recommends planning. It's not just some random advice. It's actually built on some powerful psychological principles that, look, when they work, they really work.
So, what's the biggest benefit? Well, it's this. A clear plan gets rid of that constant nagging question in the back of your head. Okay, what should I do next? That question is so draining. Every single time you don't have to make that decision, you're saving a little bit of your mental battery, your willpower, for the stuff that actually matters. It just makes it so much easier to get started.
And this has a pretty amazing long-term effect too. A good plan helps you commit to those tiny little steps every single day. You know, a 15-minute work session here, knocking out one quick task there. It might not feel like much in the moment, but you do that over weeks, over months, wow. Those little actions start to compound into absolutely massive results.
Plus, think about it this way. A written plan is kind of like a little contract you make with yourself. It's right there, in black and white. And that feeling of ticking items off a list, oh, it's so good. It gives you a visible record of your progress, and that's just a huge psychological boost that keeps you motivated and wanting to do more.
And finally, planning really forces you to connect the dots. It makes you stop and ask, hey, are the things I'm doing today actually getting me closer to my big long-term goals? This is so crucial. It stops you from just living in your inbox, reacting to emails and notifications all day long. It makes sure your effort is actually intentional.
All right, so if planning is all that great, then where does it all go so wrong? Why does it backfire on us so often? Well, this is where we fall into what you could call the anxiety trap, and we turn this awesome tool for progress into a major source of pain. Okay, here is the number one culprit, for sure. Perfectionism and rigidity. It's when your plan stops being a flexible guide and turns into this rigid set of rules that you have to follow. You start thinking, I absolutely must finish this task by 10 a.m. And what happens if you don't? Boom, the whole day feels like a total write-off. And this is exactly the feeling it creates inside. A 10-minute delay, an unexpected phone call from a friend, a task that just takes a little longer than you thought. These are just small, totally normal things that happen in life. But with a rigid plan, they don't feel like simple logistical issues anymore. Nope. They feel like a personal failing.
And then, oh yeah, there's the classic trap of over-planning. You know what I'm talking about? That to-do list with 20 different items scheduled down to the minute, that doesn't empower you. It completely paralyzes you. When you look at that massive wall of tasks, it's just cognitive overload. It makes you want to freeze up and just do nothing at all.
And this one might be the most important of all. These super rigid plans, they completely ignore the fact that we're human. The person you are on Sunday night, full of ambition, making this perfect plan, well, that person has no idea that the Tuesday morning version of you is going to wake up feeling tired or sick or just totally drained. And trying to force productivity when your mind and body just aren't there, that's a one-way ticket to burnout.
Okay, so what's the solution? The answer is definitely not to just abandon planning altogether. No way. The key is to make it more, humane. We need a system that actually works with our real lives, not against them. So let's dive into what that actually looks like. This whole approach is really built on 4 core ideas. First, we're going to start with compassion. Then we'll get super focused with something called the 3 MIT rule. After that, we'll make things realistic with time blocking and buffers. And finally, we'll learn to respect our natural rhythms by prioritizing our energy.
Okay, let's start with the 3 MIT rule, because honestly, this is a total game changer. Instead of that giant, overwhelming list, you pick just 3. 3 most important tasks for the day. And here's the magic.
If you get just those 3 things done, you can call the day a success. It's the perfect antidote to that feeling of cognitive overload we were just talking about.
Now take a look at this schedule and notice that buffer block. That little thing is just as important as the deep work block. You have got to schedule some flexible time between your big tasks. This buffer, it's for the unexpected phone call, it's for grabbing a coffee, it's for taking a quick walk. It's the breathing room. And that is what directly fights the perfectionism that makes a normal plan so fragile.
Now, if even that kind of schedule feels a little too tight, a little too constricting, here is an amazing alternative. Instead of a rigid command like, must do X at 10 a.m. sharp, you just set a flexible intention. Something like, sometime today, I'm going to connect with a colleague. See, it gives you direction, but without all that pressure of a ticking clock.
And hey, if you're someone who is especially prone to that planning anxiety, here are a few more tips just for you. First, aim for good enough planning, not perfect planning. Maybe use a simple notebook instead of some complicated app. And if you're feeling really stuck, just commit to doing something for 5 minutes. So often, just getting started is the hardest part.
All right, let's bring this all home now. It's time to completely reframe what we're actually trying to do when we make a daily plan. Because it's not about control, it's really about something so much more valuable.
So here it is, your humane planning checklist. Every day, just pick your 3 MITs. Make sure you add buffers to give yourself some breathing room. Schedule your self-care like it's a non-negotiable meeting. And then, at the end of the day, when you review what happened, do it with curiosity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Instead of beating yourself up and asking, why did I fail?
And really, this is the ultimate takeaway. This is what it's all about. A truly good plan doesn't chain you to a schedule. It does the opposite. It liberates your mind from all that stress of figuring out what's next, so you can be fully present and engaged in the work and the life that truly matters. It's supposed to be a tool for freedom, not a cage.